I want to slow this dollar pattern down, slow it way down, because the headlines always rush to the explosions, the invasions, the regime falls, leaving the machinery completely invisible. 2000. Saddam Hussein announces Iraqi oil sales in euros instead of dollars. 2003. US-led invasion topples his regime. 2009. Gaddafi pushes a gold-backed African dinar to replace dollar oil trade. 2011. NATO bombing campaign. Gaddafi captured and killed. 2025. Maduro pivots Venezuela's oil to Yuan settlements with China. 2026. U.S. operations seize control. Maduro captured. Pattern or coincidence? No, this speech doesn't peddle conspiracy. No shadowy cabals, no secret handshakes. What unfolds is something far more powerful. Observable sequences where challenging the petrodollar system, 70% of global oil priced in dollars, trillions flowing through U.S. banks annually, triggers economic warfare that escalates to regime destruction. I've tracked these currency pivots, sanction regimes, and intervention timelines for decades. This isn't speculation. It's arithmetic. Threaten the dollar's throne, face the system's immune response. The petrodollar recycles oil wealth into U.S. treasuries, funds deficits, maintains hegemony. Disrupt that, the machine doesn't negotiate. It neutralizes. Start with the surface logic everyone grasps. Oil isn't just energy, it's the world's pricing mechanism. OPEC sells 100 million barrels daily, 80% dollar denominated since 1974 Nixon-King Faisal deal. Gulf states park profits in U.S. treasuries, $3 trillion plus. Saudi Riyal pegged 3.75 but 1. Dollar demand stays infinite. Challenge it? Your oil revenue weaponizes against you. Saddam didn't grasp this in November 2000 when Iraq, the world's #2 exporter, shifted oil for food program sales to euros. Analysts noted it casually. Baghdad diversifying reserves. Washington noted it intensely. By 2002, Bush doctrine framed Iraq as WMD threat, terror sponsor. March 2003, shock and awe, regime gone. Oil, back to dollars by June 2003. Gaddafi followed. July 2009, African Union Summit, Libya proposes gold dinar, Pan-African currency backed by Libya's 143 tons gold reserves, Africa's largest. Oil sales in dinars, bypassing dollar IMF. Critics dismissed, quixotic dream. Washington didn't. WikiLeaks cables 2011 reveal State Department alarm. Gaddafi's gold reserves threaten CFA franc dollar dominance. February 2011, Benghazi protests spark. NATO Resolution 1973, civilian protection. 7 months bombing. 1B+ munitions. October 2011, Gaddafi dragged from pipe, executed. Libya's gold? Missing 143 tons. Oil? Dollars again. Fast forward 2025, Maduro, cornered by sanctions, signs Yuan oil deals with China. Petro-Yuan expansion. PDVSA ships 300K BPD to Sinopec, settles RMB via SIPS, China's SWIFT alternative. U.S. Treasury, sanctions evasion. December 2025, opposition wins elections amid blackouts. January 2026, U.S. Special Forces capture Maduro in Caracas safehouse. Venezuela transition government restores dollar oil sales. Pattern repeats. This exposes the petrodollar fantasy, unassailable by fiat decree. Reality? Vulnerable to coordinated defiance. When OPEC Plus flirts with Yuan, Saudi 2023 talks, dollar wobbles. 10-year yields spike 25 BPS. Systems respond, not personalities. Incentives. Saddam 2000, the first break. November 2, 2000, Iraq announces Euro oil sales via UN Oil for Food. Context, post-1998, UN's comm scandal. Sanctions cripple economy. Saddam frames, end dollar imperialism. Practical, euros trade at parity. Diversify reserves. Impact, oil for food. 2.5 M BPD, 20 B-year euros. U.S. banks lose fees. Treasury notes, systemic risk. By 2001, euros hit 10% Iraqi reserves. Washington watches. Powell April 2002 hints, regime financial threat. Post 9/11, Iraq axis of evil. Powell UN Feb 2003, WMD vials. Real driver? Dollar challenge compounded sanctions evasion. Invasion cost 2 TL. Oil returned dollars June 2003. Federal Reserve confirms. Coincidence? Timing precise. Deeper layer. Petrodollar circuitry. Iraq pre-2000. 50 Bilai reserves, 60% dollar. Euro shift drains liquidity. Banks scramble convert. Fed intervention rumored. Saddam didn't threaten militarily. Financially, existential. Post-invasion mechanics? Undercovered. U.S. firms Halliburton, Exxon Floodfields. Production 2M BPD, 4M by 2006. Dollars lock. Iraqi dinar pegged USD, reserves rebuilt dollar heavy. Gaddafi, 2009. Gold dinar challenge. July 2009. Gaddafi African Union. Gold dinar ends dollar slavery. Libya, 1.8 M BPD, 143 tons gold, 6B value. Plan, African oil sales dinars bypass Bretton Woods. Hillary cables, gold for oil threatens City of London. France frets CFA franc, 80% dollar pegged. February 2011. Tunisia protests spread Benghazi. Gaddafi blames Al-Qaeda. NATO, R2P intervention. France leads airstrikes. Sarkozy motives, CFA protection, plus total oil contracts. U.S., 500 meters munitions. Gaddafi dead October 20th. Gold, central bank reports 143 tons. Zero unaccounted. Libya chaos, civil war, slave markets. Truth, Gaddafi modernized pre-2011. Per capita GDP 12K, literacy 90%, water projects. Threat, currency union bypassing dollar, IMF, post-death, dinar dead, oil dollars. Maduro 2025 Yuan pivot 2024, Venezuela 800K BPD, 80% China, India, sanctions bite, PDVSA 10B debt default, Beijing pushes Petro-Yuan, CNPC settles 20% when, Maduro doubles down, 2025, dollar weapon ended, CIPS transactions triple, U.S. response, Treasury adds 200 ships OFAC. December 2025, elections disputed. January 2026, U.S.-backed opposition storms palace, special forces extract Maduro. Transition restores Chevron dollar contracts. Pattern, currency threat, intervention. The machinery, petrodollar immune response. Petrodollar recycles 3T Saudi reserves, U.S. debt. Iraq euros, 20 bide leak. Gaddafi dinar, African oil bypass. Yuan Venezuela, CIPS competes, SWIFT. Response sequence, financial isolation, treasury lists, SWIFT cuts, economic strangulation, oil embargo, asset freezes, political destabilization, NGO funding, election pressure, kinetic resolution, invasion, proxy war, regime extraction, concentrated interest protect, Wall Street banks earn 100B fees, oil majors lock contracts, defense firms build trillions, diffuse pain, taxpayers fund wars, consumers pay pump premiums. Why pattern persists? $60% reserves 1971, 58% 2025. Threats compound, BRICS basket, Saudi Yuan sales. Response calibrated, Syria, Yuan gas, Iran, Yuan oil, Russia, Yuan post-2022. Media framing, WMDs, human rights, democracy. Structure hidden. Who captures oil flows? Links from policy to pump obscure. Lobby ecosystem. Treasury alumni to Goldman. 50 meters petrodollar packs versus anti-war fragmented. Policies frame moral, deliver extraction. Human arithmetic Iraq. 1M dead, 2T cost. Libya. Civil war, slaves. Venezuela. Hyperinflation. Exodus. Concentrated wins, diffuse tragedy. Global realignment, BRICS attacks. SKO Yuan oil, M-Bridge CBDCs. Saudi 10% Yuan sales 2024. Dollar yields spike response. Everyday chain your gas. Dollar oil adds 20C. iPhone chips. Dollar bonds fund, Foxconn. Pattern prediction. Next, Argentina Malay flirts Yuan? Watch Treasury lists. Deeper, capitalism's kill switch. Threaten recycle, face reset. Counter-arguments addressed. Saddam, WMD's real threat. Gaddafi, Arab Spring organic. Maduro, elections genuine. Facts challenge. Euro shift pre-9/11. Gold cables pre-Tunisia. Yuan post-sanctions. Historical parallels. 1973. U.S.-Saudi petrodollar birth. 1979. Iran revolution threatens. 1990. Saddam Kuwait. Dollar preserved. Modern threats. BRICS 35% GDP. Yuan swaps 500B. M-Bridge pilots threaten. Escape paths, dollar pivot, yield curve control, CBDC weapon, or multilateral reset. Factory floor Basra refinery, dollars flow, locals unemployed. Generational millennials inherit debt-funded wars. Cultural Libya tents, slaves. Environmental Iraq oil fires, Libya fields idle. Lobby metrics, petrodollar firms. 200mm donations. Paths converge. Challenge, neutralize. Arithmetic eternal. Extend Saddam deep dive. Euro sales NOV 2000. 64 barrel euros. Fed liquidity crunch 2001. Post-invasion. Dinar USD peg June 2003. Gaddafi cables, Hillary gold threat CFA. France 35 Rafales Libya contract motive. Maduro timeline. CNPC Yuan 20% 2025. OFAC 200 ships deck petrodollar. Stats 3.5T Saudi treasuries. SWIFT 90% dollar. BRICS counter. SKO oil Yuan 15% 2025. Treasury mechanics. OFAC lists. Freeze 50 buy regimes. Wall Street capture. Ex-Fed to JP Morgan 100 Mallers salaries. Taxpayer cost. Iraq 8 TI long term. Brown University. Oil flow models. $80%, 72% post BRICS. IMF roll. SDR's dollar weighted 41%. Escape models. Yield curve control Fed purchases. Global South, Echo Argentina Yuan swaps 2025. Tech angle, blockchain CIPS versus SWIFT. Workers lens, PDVSA engineer $50, $500 post dollar. Counterpath, multipolar basket, BRICS plus. Legal stretch, Helms-Burton sanctions, eternal. Prediction markets, 45% dollar, 50% reserves, 2030. Food chain, dollar wheat adds 10% Africa. Every wallet traces throne defense. Challenge pattern, watch treasury lists. Cycles eternal, threaten, war, dollars restored. Capitalism's immune. Concentrated defend, diffuse bleed. Picture Caracas palace. Maduro zip-tied, chevron waits. Paths dollar or dust. Rethink, multilateral recycle, no kill switch, or interventions forever. Maduro 2025, UN pivot 2024. Venezuela 800K BPD, 80% China, India. Sanctions bite. PDVSA 10B debt default. Beijing pushes petro win. CNPC settles 20% yuan. Maduro doubles down 2025. Dollar weapon ended. CIPS transactions triple. U.S. response. Treasury adds 200 ships OFAC. December 2025. Elections disputed. January 2026. U.S.-backed opposition storms palace. Special forces extract Maduro. Transition restores Chevron dollar contracts. Pattern, currency threat, intervention.